We'll be starting in a minute. Good evening, and welcome to Medical Mondays with Dr. O. What a day. Another day to learn, another day to connect, another day to just enrich one another. I'm Dr. Tony Okpesomi, popularly known as Dr. O, Prince George's County Health Officer, and I host this program every Monday for preventive purposes and just to enrich us when it comes to things of health. Health, anyways. This month is Autism Awareness Month. And after our session last week, we realized that we could not walk away yet, that we still have a lot to talk about. And so we decided to continue on the topic of autism and what to do, how to do, and what to know in order to make lives better, especially those that are impacted in our community. I'm thankful for Dr. Felipe Muhali, who spoke last week, for his heart, for willingly sharing from personal experience and from all we learned. Also for Mind Vita Pro, that has been blessing so many. And I'm thankful for Dr. Fawole, who selflessly agreed to be a speaker tonight. She's busy. She just came in. I saw her pulling a bag over her head as she sat down. We are grateful because it is out of love that, everybody has come together for this conversation. Remember that this is a forum where you have a voice to speak and to ask questions when the time comes. I'm going to yield the floor to Dr. Fawole to complete our introduction. She's one of Medical Monday's family. She's been here for years, and we're so proud that she's in the space she is now, actually freely, 100% freely, giving a once-a-month conversation on this topic. I'm sure she will share with us before this is over, so you can connect with her on those monthly dialogue. Without much ado, Dr. Fawole, the floor is yours, and welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. O, our famous, fabulous Dr. O. It's such an honor to be here this evening. And good evening, everyone. As Dr. O has said, my name is Dr. Mayowa Fawole. I've been an educator all my life, all my adult life, let me correct that, and starting from Nigeria. And actually, special education, my passion for it is not innate because I know nothing about special education until I came to the States and continued my career in teaching. And I came across students in my classroom who struggled to learn. And it became a challenge for me because as an educator, you want all your students to do well. So it was that quest that sent me back to school to become a special educator. And right there, I found my passion. Really, just enhancing lives for individuals with special abilities. And since then, I've been a teacher, a coach, and now admin who works for equity I look for equity in everything that goes on in the school, and that has been my passion. So it's the same passion that sent me back to get my doctorate degree in organizational leadership with emphasis in special education. So I'm so happy to be here this evening, and thank you for having me. I guess I will share my screen. Okay. So I do host, just like Dr. O mentioned, I host a parent workshop session every Saturday, every third Saturday of every month at 10:30 in the morning until noon, just to educate, support, and inspire parents so they can feel not alone, but feel supported and feel heard and seen. And that's the purpose. So tonight, it's a lot to talk about when it comes to autism, but the goal today is actually to get a little understanding, maybe a little deeper understanding of what autism is, and also to discuss some practical strategies to support our kiddos or even the adult individuals with autism at home, and also to share some resources for parents. And that's the goal tonight. So what is autism? I think all of us on this platform probably know, maybe, some things about autism, but just for the purpose of those who might not know, autism is a it's just a neuro developmental condition, if I can put it that way. It's a neurodevelopmental condition that characterizes with social skills, with communication, or repetitive or strict behavior. And social skills can present as lack of interacting, like you and I will interact with other people. It might affect just looking at people, directly. Communication can range from non-speaking at all to selective speaking or to talking a lot. And when it comes to repetitive behavior, this might present in form of rigidity, individuals that do not want any changes to their schedule, to what they do, including food that they eat. Or sometimes they imitate. So if you say something, they might just repeat exactly what you say. Or sometimes they might talk in the third person. So if they want something, they might say, Johnny wants juice, instead of saying, I want juice. Or sometimes they talk at home and they do not talk anywhere else. And that's what I mean by selective speaking. Eye contact, making friends, or keeping a conversation is part of the social skills, or even responding appropriately. So you might say hello and they might not respond. And it's not because they want to be rude, it's just because of the presenting symptoms. So before I move forward, I want to show us a quick video. I think it's about 2 minutes long or a little shorter. Hopefully, let me see.
Yeah. Okay, so dermatology just make $500,000 a year plus on top of that.
Can we hear it?
Yes.
Okay. So
It's paused now.
Good money. You get out of school. Did you go to school for free? Did you?
You know, you never get cured of autism.
So this is the video, and I just want us to, look for symptoms and maybe grab some understanding around autism as we watch it. This is Temple Grandin. She is somebody who has been diagnosed with autism. She is now a professor at University of Colorado.
But what you do is you learn better, is you learn more and more things.
Well, I didn't speak until I was 4. Now I have a BA and a master's, and I'm studying for my doctorate.
I can remember the frustration of not being able to talk. I couldn't get my words out. My speech came in gradually, a few words at a time. When I was a little kid, I was very autistic, nonverbal, rocking. You know, that's the kind of kid they just put away in the institution. But I had a speech teacher that worked really hard with me, and I can't emphasize enough the importance of young children getting early intervention. You got a 2-year-old or 3-year-old with no speech, don't wait. High school was absolutely worst part of my life. Teasing, teasing, teasing. I got kicked out of school for throwing a book at a girl, teased me because, you know, teasing really made my life miserable. And the only places I could get away from teasing was the specialized activities. Things like horseback riding, electronics lab, model rocket club. The line was drawn in the sand. I was not allowed to become a recluse in my room. I had to get out and do things. I'm always kind of baffled at just how illogical people are in their thinking. I'm very logical in my thinking. But when I was younger, I didn't know that other people thought more in words. You see, I think in pictures. If I don't have a picture, I don't think. And my mind is very, very associative. Being a visual thinker, I tend to put things into categories. You see, autism is a very big spectrum. At one end of the spectrum, you've got half the people at Silicon Valley. And then at the other end of the spectrum, you've got somebody who's very handicapped, remains nonverbal, is going to have to live in a supervised living situation. Really, really big spectrum. And, you know, Einstein probably be labeled autistic today in a lot of school systems because he had no speech until age 3. I'm interested in seeing something that makes real change. I've done a lot of work that's made a lot of improvements in the livestock industry, and I think I've helped a lot of kids succeed. I want to see the kids that are like me succeed. That's the kind of stuff that makes me happy. When I see the things that I do make a difference.
Okay. So I'm going to stop there.
They don't want you seeing this, but they can't hide it.
Okay. So I hope we do notice one or two things, symptoms, the prevalences that can be symptoms of autism from that short video. If you can type in the chat, maybe some symptoms that you notice or that you heard about autism. And I say that we're typing that in because we'll remember what Temple said, that it is a spectrum, and some of us probably realize that already. It is a spectrum, meaning that it manifests differently in different individuals. So some people need a lot of support, some people need minimal support, some people need severe support. So Temple was saying different kind of things, but we can also see how she talked about she did not talk until she was 4. Also, she thinks in pictures, not in words. So we can begin to think about, you know, those of us that know people with autism, we can begin to see sometimes that their brain just functions differently than ours. Maybe if we can put it that way, that is function differently. She talked about how she got out of high school. High school was very difficult for her. So we can see also that as they grow, they're also maturing. For some, in some aspect, it might get a little more difficult because, of course, life is more challenging as you're growing. But they also get matured once they have some support built in for them. So they're able to navigate the system a little better once they have the support. She talked about the speech therapies that she received at a very early age. So which is telling us that early intervention is one of the best strategies that we can employ. Kids can be diagnosed as early as age 2, even though the prevalence that we have right now is between age 4.7 years old. And for people of color, it can even be longer to get diagnosis because of so many factors that can contribute to that. But before I move on along that area, we have 3 levels of autism. This is from DSM, the psychological group of America. That's the DSM-4. So they have autism categorized into 3 levels. So level 1, they might struggle with social rules or social cues that you and I might not even pay attention to. Sometimes you can just read body language and know whether to talk or not to talk. So this might be a challenge for individuals with autism. I talk about rigidity or inflexible behavior that had to do with transition, with food, with everything. And level 2, where they require substantial support, you might see where individuals might walk away in the middle of a conversation because they're done, or they can turn that conversation into their special interest. Because when we look very closely, almost every individual with autism have special interest. There is something that is very dear to them that they have very high interest in. It might be trains, it might be a particular topic, it might be a dinosaur, it might be movie character, the Disney character especially. And they always want to bring conversation back to that particular special interest. They might need a lot of accommodation in school for reading, for mathematics, and also the social skills. Level 3, it means that's the level that they require intensive support. So they might have communication deficit or maybe speech delay. They might have the repetitive behavior like the rocking or talking with their hand like stimming. They might jump, excessively, sometimes when they are excited or sometimes when they have sensory overload. So they might need one-to-one support for a period of time. Some might also need to use assistive technology, to communicate with others. Research has shown us that there are comorbidity that comes with autism. And some of them are listed here, and we will not see all of these in every person with autism. But you might see 1, you might see 2. Feeding issues. Sometimes they do not eat a lot of food. They're very picky eaters. Some of them, we only eat a particular food. It can just be crunchy food, which also had to do with sensory. Some of them do not want anything that is too liquidy. And some prefer something like porridge. Disruptive sleep is a big deal that medical doctors have recommended that parents actually look into. Because if we are able to help the sleeping condition, then the symptoms may begin to decrease. Because, I mean, for all of us, even if you do not have a classification or a diagnosis, if you do not sleep well, we know how that goes. So imagine for children who have disrupted sleep day after day and what that can mean for them at school and to complete every other thing, the demand that is placed on them. So it is a good place to begin to really check, if they're suffering from sleep apnea, if they're suffering from any other sleeping disorder, so that we can take care of that medically. Anxiety is another thing that I guess scientists and researchers have placed a lot of emphasis on. That is an area that we can also look into to reduce whatever that is causing anxiety for the individuals with autism. Gastrointestinal problems has also been found to be very prevalent. So those are the areas that we can look for, maybe that are common. They are common co-occurring conditions that we can look into. Of course, ADHD is another one. So that if you can take care of all those medically, then we begin to see reduction in the symptoms that is prevailing. So I said, no kids with autism spectrum disorder are identical. So presentation or the symptoms depend on the age sometimes and the severity of the symptoms that is showing up for us. We also want to look at their strengths and the challenges, and that can change over time. So as we're working with them, using all these strategies, we begin to see changes in their challenges, also in their strengths. In the Black community, it's very important that we pay attention to the underdiagnosis or misdiagnosing, because it's very common in our community. Sometimes we have the tendency that our population might be diagnosed as behavior disorder and any other condition but autism. For different reasons. So getting a diagnosis or getting a second opinion might be a good idea, just to be sure. And also, be the doctor yourself. Be the doctor. Once you know the symptoms, then you can pinpoint what you also see in the children, so that you'll be sure that, okay, this is the right diagnosis. I also want to point out that autism does not just affect the individual with the diagnosis. Autism affects everybody in the family. So when we're thinking about the support or the resources, we had to think of that. We had to think of it holistically for the family. The siblings may suffer neglect, because there is a tendency, for the parent to focus a lot on the child with autism, and the other siblings feel neglected. Grandparents, there's a lot of effect on the finances, because we've seen a lot of parents, especially mothers, have to leave their job to take care of the child. So that put a strain on their finances. So it's multifaceted when this happens in a family, which is why for us as the community, we all have to exercise grace to our families who are dealing with autism. But we can also see that autism is not a death sentence. It is not a result that says, oh, your child cannot be what God created him or her to be. As we can see, not just in Temple, but in so many other people that have moved on to do great and higher things. When we talk about etiology of autism, actually the research does not give us one known cause. Right now, the research is saying it is multifactorial, meaning that there are so many factors that is leading to the diagnosis of autism. Recently, there is a challenge on the definition of autism, which is still working on. It's not posted yet, but so there's challenge in that the way autism is being diagnosed is looking at the behavior, physical behaviors, and that's what they're looking at to diagnose autism. And these are individuals with autism themselves that are that are looking into the research to see, like, okay, now that we have better understanding, we need to redefine autism, but it's still in progress. But so far, the factors that have been identified that are contributing to the diagnosis of autism includes genetic causes. So when they look, they believe that it has origin in the family somehow, somewhat. Environmental causes, the chemicals around us, in the air, in the atmosphere is another thing, and also nutrition is another area. What research has found not to be true is the myth that we had for a very long time that about the refrigerator mothers. That means mothers that do not pay attention to their children, they did not give them enough attention. That's why they have autism. It's not supported by research. Or to say that vaccines that kids receive is what causes autism is also not supported by research. So recently, I call it advances in autism. What we have on the screen right now includes factors that researchers are calling the risk factor, the autism risk factors. So, and that includes some biological factors, which is in a way a good news. They're looking at maternal diabetes, they're looking at extreme prematurity, they're looking at age, maternal age at conception, they're looking at autism risk genes. They're actually looking into so many other things that because they are biological factors, it is said that then it can be dealt with medically, which give us hope into, getting better results as we move on. So these are the factors that researchers believe influences autism. As of 2025, in the United States, we have 1 in 31 children has autism. And that is very close. Just 2023, it was 1 in 36. But the research as of 2025 said 1 in 31. And surprisingly, New Jersey has the highest rate. It is 1 in 29 in New Jersey. I live in New Jersey. That's why I have to say that. And 1 in 45 adults in the US has autism. And the number 1 in 31 is actually for school-age children. That means from age 3 to 17. As always, it has always been affected more boys than girls. So it's always 4 times more likely for boys than girls. So if we look at the ratio, we will see there's a lot of boys that are affected more than girls. Not that girls they're not diagnosed with autism, but it's not as much as boys. So when we look at it, looking at ethnicity, for white is 2.7, Hispanic 3.3, Black is 3.7, and Asian and American Indian 3.8, and all around the world is 1 in 100, according to research. We see the increase in the numbers, not because there are increase in people who are affected by autism, but because we have better tools for diagnosis, according to research. That's why we see the number go up. So tools are more easily available, accessible, and also children are able to be diagnosed pretty early than it was before. And that's why we see the number spike up. So when we talk about effective therapies, there's so many therapies that are proven to be very effective. ABA therapy, which is applied behavior analysis, is a therapy that is available through insurance. It's not available in schools, but it's available to parents. And it is through the PCP, the primary care physician. We recommend the ABA therapy for the student when it is needed, or for the child when it's needed. So based on the age and the severity where they fall on the spectrum, the insurance will determine how many hours a week of therapy they can receive. And that goes for occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech and language therapy, even music therapy. If parents, as parents, if you feel that the hours that the insurance assigned for your children or your child is not enough or is not substantial, of course, you can always challenge that. Thank God that is one of the advancements that we have in autism now. Before, insurance will not cover the therapies. But because of parents who have been speaking up, who have been going to Washington, policy has been moved. And now every insurance company must cover these therapies as long as the child qualifies for it. Gut therapy is another one. Social skills training is also available. Psychological and educational interventions. So at school, accommodations, modifications that are needed, including counseling, they are available through school. Occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech and language therapy, music therapy, they are all available through school. Based on IDEA, the school must provide all these therapies once the child needs it. Sometimes parents, we have to request for it. It might not be offered if you do not request. So it's important that parents know their rights and ask for it, and ask for it until it is given. I put down essential oils. It also helps with the mood and sleep, especially. But I will recommend that, speak to somebody who is an expert in essential oil, because we know that essential oil can be very strong. So you want to make sure we use it at the right dosage. It's wrong to apply on the skin, bare skin. Actually, it's not advisable. Sometimes it has to be mixed with, however they do that. That has to be mixed together, to help. Medication, in some cases, help students. Nutrition and diet has been proven to be excellently effective. It's a lot of work, but it has been proven to help individuals with autism. I do not want to spend too much time on all those therapies, because they are things that you get outside of the house, because today we're focusing on the strategies that you can use at home. And that's why I'm not focusing on that much, because other people will come in to provide that to the families. So essential oil, for sleeping, I put some things here. Lavender oil is something that I like personally. But for those of us that use essential oil, I'm not very good at it, but I just like them. But lavender, peppermint, chamomile has been very highlighted to support sleep and mood. So it might be something that, you might want to try, especially to help students calm down and to help them sleep through the night, not just to fall asleep, but to be able to sleep through the night. So now, supporting children with autism at home. I know we probably have some questions, but usually at Medical Monday, we go through the session and then we ask questions. Okay, so the first thing I would say is believe in your child. See your child as a child. As a child first before any other diagnosis. Mindset matters a lot and it affects a lot. And when I say believe in your child, have high expectations, it means no opt-out. We use no opt-out strategy, meaning that I'm not going to exempt you from doing what your age mates are doing as much as you can, but I'm going to look for what is it that I need to provide to allow you to be able to do it. So if I need to go to a birthday party, I know that noise bothers you. So I'm not going to keep you at home from going to the party because of the noise. But what can I do for you to be able to attend that birthday party? So you can use headphones, noise canceling headphones we can give to the child to use so that they can still participate. Yes, you might be there, maybe for a short period of time until they start getting used to it, but we do not want to start excluding them from activities. They can try it. We find accommodation for them to be able to try it. I also want to encourage parents to stay positive, healthy, and self-care, because you need to be strong, you need to be healthy, you need to be available for your child. Seek support, especially in our community. Sometimes we, I don't know if it's fear or we don't want to bother people. I don't want to bother anybody. Yes, please take support, take the offer when it is offered to you, take breaks. We all need it every now and then, especially when it is offered. Accept it and get a little break, because it can be overwhelming and you need a break. You need support group. Thank God for Medical Monday. And that's also what we try to do at Spotlight on SPED, which is something that I do, the workshop that I run every month. And focus on your child's strength, not on the diagnosis. Focus on their strengths. Focus on what are the challenges, what can I do to help them overcome those challenges? And that's what we want to focus on. Also, keep record of all documents. We all know that in special education, documentation is everything. Keep record of all documentation, everything, IEP meetings, report cards, or every emails, because you will need it when you want to challenge anything that is going on in the school. So another thing that I would say, maybe the first one, is actually establish a structure and stick to it. Last week, I mentioned that our students with autism, or children with autism, individuals with autism, actually, they thrive on routine. Routine. We all have routines, and we do not have diagnoses. At least some of us, we do not have diagnoses, but we all have routines that we follow. The same way, or even more importantly, it is for them to have routine. And when they have routine to follow, it will give them independence. It will teach them independence. Use clock and timers. Simplify the schedule as much as you can, make it as cogent, as bite-sized as you can, but follow through. I think I have a video too. So to create a schedule is really very simple. This is like a template that we're looking at and some pictures. So whatever it is that you want to create, whatever schedule, and you can start very small. You can create morning schedule. Some of us, we all have our morning schedule. You have your routine. You wake up in the morning. The first thing is to pray. The next thing is to exercise. And then I jump in the shower. It's time to make my tea or whatever, and then go out. Maybe that's your routine in the morning. But we all have them. The same way we want to give them that routine that they can follow. So once you think it through, what is it that they need or that you want them to do in the morning, we can put it on a picture schedule. We call it visual schedule. Visual support. Our kids they benefit a lot from visual support. So creating visual schedule will be very helpful, has been very helpful for them. So you just pair pictures with your vocal direction, and it will be very helpful for them. So there are different types of visual support that you can provide. We use the first and then board. We use the choice board. We use tax strips, visual rules, even the rules that you will have in the classroom. We use that so that they can learn what the rules are. Okay, here's a very short video on how to create a visual for different things. You can use it for potty training. You can use it for after school schedule or bedtime routine. Whatever it is that you feel that the child needs support in. So it will take away a lot of anxiety from them. It will take away a lot of time, a lot of deregulation from them. So we help them to self-regulate and to gain independence. So the video just walk us through quickly how you can make it. So let's play.
How do I make a visual schedule for my classroom?
Can we hear it and see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Making a visual schedule can be for a range of tasks. It can be for an entire day where you want to plan the students' activities, or it can be for a set activity. Depending on what the expectation is, this is how we would develop a visual schedule. Let's take, for instance, a small one-to-one session where you and the child will engage in activities. We recommend using something like a small visual schedule, where each task or each activity is represented by using a picture. The child knows that each picture is going to represent a different activity, and on completion of this activity, I can remove it from my visual schedule and I can put it into a finished box. It's really important that you get the child to be actively involved in this process. Here I've underlined each task individually and I have a visual to represent each task. It's very important that we break these tasks down. It'll help the child transition from one task to another, but it also gives them a very good expectation of what we'd like to see from the child. I always like to put something rewarding at the end so that child is working towards something. If I wanted to have a visual schedule for an entire day, I would again break the day into activities that the child is going to complete. Here we have a much larger laminated strip where each activity is broken down into individual pictures. For instance, first the child will engage in play, then they'll have one-on-one time, then they'll have group time, snack, and so forth. The child knows that throughout the entire day there's going to be a set of activities, and right at the end of the day they can get their bag and they can go home. You can imagine how much anxiety this must reduce for a child to know that there are expectations, but at the end I get to go home.
Okay. All right. So that's just a quick example, just so I know a lot of us are not teachers, but it's actually not very difficult to put together. If anyone needs support, you can reach out to me later. But this is something that the occupational therapist can also support, or the speech therapist can also help parents to put together, or you can put it together. All you need is just the base, and Velcro and some pictures. We can even get the pictures from Google Images, or we have, however we get the pictures. So, but it's something that we can put together, except that it just has to be individualistic. It has to be tailored to the child. And what is it that we want that child to do? So it would be important to model it, how to use it. You do it with them and make it fun. And before you know it, they start doing it themselves. So this is another example of morning routine, just to let you see that it's really not difficult to do if it's something that you're thinking of. Even adults benefit from visual schedules, depending on their need. There's another example of morning routine, shower time. If you want to teach them how to shower by themselves, we can put those the pictures in place step by step. They know after this is what I do. After that, this is what I do. And after modeling with them, modeling for them and supporting them, then you start taking it with them, they start doing it. They will know to take the picture, to follow the pictures, to take those steps. And those kids are very smart. They can do that. Also, you can do the nighttime routine, whatever you want, on your bedtime routine. You can put on it. You can also use it for them to do chores. You might ask me, can kids with autism do chores? Yes, they can do chores. Yes, they can. It's just a matter of giving them the right support and the right amount and the right dose. So as their age progresses and their strength progresses, the same way you can change the routine. Like this is an example for a teenager. You can see he's a little bit more involved than, for a kid, maybe age 5, age 6, up to like age 7 or 8. So by the time they becoming a teenager, then you up the scale a little bit. So supporting students who are non-speaking, I want to encourage us to embrace all forms of communication, be it gestures, maybe the pointing, maybe the touching, is okay. However they're able to communicate, let us embrace that. Using communication board, maybe like assistive technology, a student can get evaluated for that at the school. If the student is non-speaking, you can request for them to be evaluated for communication devices. And through that assessment, they will be able to tell what type of devices they will recommend based on their need. So sometimes they might use a PEX board. Sometimes they might use like iPad, where the iPad will be able to push voices out for them. So there are different kinds of speaking devices that are available that they can use based on their needs. So again, visual support, visual schedule, sign language. Sign language is something else that in schools now we're trying to teach students to also learn sign language, so that if they can communicate with sign language, they don't need to take anything with them, and they will be able to communicate wherever they go, be it at the bus stop, be it at amusement park, or wherever they are, at the library, they'll be able to communicate and advocate for themselves as they're growing up. And all these things that I'm saying is okay to start small. We don't have to do everything one time. You can start really small. Like sign language, we can just start with hello. And when we learn how to say hello, then we can go to bye-bye. And now we're combining that. And after that, we can start moving on to making requests. I want whatever. I want water. I want juice. Or I want to sleep. Or all done. I need a break. Then we can move to that. But yes, it should be progressive, so it's not too overwhelming. And we can all learn together. And please, you also for every strategy that you're using, you want to incorporate positive reinforcement as well. Let them know they're doing great. Whatever we motivate them, some of them will be motivated with stickers, so give them stickers. Some of them will be motivated with edibles. You don't have to feed them to be full with it, but if they like, some of them like goldfish. Even if you give them 2-3 pieces of goldfish, they're happy. So, just to give them reinforcement, positive reinforcement. There's another video here that I want to show about. This is about communication also. I think it's about 2 minutes long. I don't know how much time. It's almost 8 o'clock.
No, go ahead, please.
Okay, all right.
If your belly is the reason why you are hiding in pictures, do these 4 Tai Chi exercises daily for 2 minutes each. I'm 60.
Okay. So this video is about a family.
There is a boy who is just like other boys, until one night he sees from his window a storm on the horizon.
Oh, Who are you?
I'm Peter Pan, and you can.
All of a sudden, at 3 years old, Owen vanishes. The doctor says, "Let me explain what autism is." Some of the kids don't ever talk again.
I remember thinking, I'm just gonna hold you so tight and love you so much that whatever is going on will go away.
We're beginning to give up hope. And one day, we're watching the Disney animated movies. And he says he doesn't want to grow up like Mowgli or Peter Pan.
What the hell just happened?
And all of a sudden, it became clear to us. He's using these movies to make sense of the world he actually is living in, our world. So at that point, we began to speak to him in Disney dialogue.
When did you and I become such good friends?
Whatever works to get to Owen.
I've been scared my whole life of growing up. Peter Pan doesn't want to grow up because when you grow up, you lose all your magical childhood times.
My hope is that he is independent enough to be able to grow older on his own.
When I look in the mirror, I see a proud autistic man ready to meet a future that is bright and full of wonder.
He's going to have to fall and fail. We're not afraid of that as we used to be.
I just can't believe how far Owen has come.
The future, I'm still searching for it.
Who decides what a meaningful life is?
It's like I always say, children got to be free to lead their own lives.
Okay. So I showed this short clip for us to see the power of interest. Okay. All right. So because the parent, I mean, the child started speaking and then all of a sudden he stopped speaking by age 2 or something. He stopped speaking and it was a big concern for parents, of course. But not knowing that this Disney movie is actually teaching him so much. And because the parent paid attention to him, to his interests, they discovered that he speaks. He just doesn't talk to them. But he was learning from these Disney movies. And most, let me say some, a number of individuals with autism, especially younger ones, they are fascinated by Disney movies. So if we find their interest, let us build on it. Let's build on their special interests. It might be their way actually to break through. And that's the reason why I show that. And that's how they were able to, that's how he started speaking, because the father now realizes that if he speaks to him with the Disney language, he responded. And he went to college, he graduated, you know, and he's actually working for Disney now. So communication board, as I was saying, is something. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So, so this is an example of a communication board that we can use, or sign language. That's not a very clear picture. So when it comes to communication, do not let us give up. You know, continue to speak to them, continue to encourage verbal communication as we're giving them and embracing however they choose to communicate to us until they get to where we want them to be. If they need an iPad, let them use it by all means. So managing meltdown or self-injurious behavior. Self-injurious behavior might include headbanging, which can be very devastating. It can be biting. It can be hurting themselves in so many ways and hurting others in so many ways. And like I was trying to explain last week, we know, according to research, that every behavior serves a function. So there's a reason, there is a function for that behavior. It can be for sensory overload. It can be for escape. And it can be because they're sick and they cannot tell you because they do not have the language to express their feelings, like what they're feeling. They cannot, they don't have a way to express it. Just like kids, when we first have, a child, they don't have any language. When they need something, what do? They cry. That's all they can do. And then the mom and the dad have to figure it out. Okay, let's try. Maybe you want milk. Maybe, maybe it's wet. Maybe this and that. The same way. Just because they do not have that mode of communication, it might be the reason why we see the meltdown, or sometimes even the self-injurious behavior. But one of the most important things is to, first of all, ensure their safety. Clear the area of whatever that can be harmful to them. And you might want to give them a soft pillow, depending on what it is. As the parent in charge of that, you want to stay calm. Because if they hear aggression in your voice, it just increases the anxiety for them. So it's important that we stay calm and collected, that we're responding and not reacting. So if I know that my child has the tendency to have a meltdown and I don't even know the reason why, or maybe you know the reason why, sometimes you know the reason why. Because if you see a pattern, like, oh, maybe it's every time that we say it's time to eat, that's when we see that is, it's dinner time. Then we see that unfailingly because this child doesn't want to eat. So that might be avoidance. That's the reason why you see the meltdown. So you want to be calm. You want to make sure they're safe. You want to remove triggers as much as possible. So if you have bright light, you want to dim the light if you can. If possible, sometimes we're not in a place that we can. Or if there are noises around, you want to decrease the noises as much as possible, or give them a headphone if they will take it, if they will use it. Sometimes it's because the temperature might be too hot for them. Individuals with autism, they seem to like cold. They don't like a lot of heat. So they get hot very easily. So some of them, even no matter how cold it gets during the winter, all they want is t-shirt. And the parent had to struggle to put jacket on them. So if the temperature is, a little bit high, you want to decrease that. Sometimes perfume can irritate them as well when the smell. So you want to remove as much triggers that may be around. In the house with the light, if you cannot dim the light, sometimes we cover the light. You cover it with something that will still be transparent, but it will take the bright effect away from it. And then give them choices, maybe 2 choices, or something that they like. If they like to read, I can ask them, if you have the picture of it, you can also show them, would you like picture? Would you like to read a book? Would you like to color? Or do you like the fidget toy? If there's a toy in particular that they like, so you can offer them and see which one they would take. Sometimes giving them pressure, like a bear hug, sometimes help. Like they just need pressure, like a deep pressure. And that's why sometimes you use a weighted blanket or a weighted vest. There is a weighted hat. They have different forms of them. That is just going to give them that pressure that they seek at that time. I just want to caution us about the weighted blanket or weighted vest.
Give it information in a minute, but
I'm sorry. Okay, so research has proven that they do work, but we have to, it has to be recommended by an occupational therapist. We call them a sensory diet. So we don't want them to wear it, you know, it's like medication. So there has to be a dose, even with the weighted blanket or weighted vest. It might be maybe for 30 minutes, maybe 3 times a day or during the school day and twice at home, something like that, so that their body doesn't get used to it and then it becomes ineffective. So it's important that you collaborate with the occupational therapist to determine what would be the dosage. And if the school does not offer it, I say try it at home. Try it and see if it works. If you see that it helps, then recommend it at school, and the school should be able to provide it. Visual choice board, and if you don't have it, just offer them what you have that you know. We help them, that you know they like. It might be a certain food, it might be certain activities. Sometimes they like a walk. Like you ask them, would they like to take a walk? You ask them, would they like to watch TV? Would they like to know that you are not that you're indulging them, but you want them to be calm, because at that time is not the time to correct, it's not the time to accuse, it's time to offer support. So when they're calm, then we can teach them what would be an alternative behavior to the behavior that they just demonstrated. Okay, so I also put something here, label object, hot or cold, because sometimes kiddos, they do not feel pain, not all of them, but some of them. They do not feel pain, that sometimes, you know, they get hot, but because they do not feel pain, you will not know because they didn't cry. So you don't know that they're hot until you see maybe a bruise that's already infected or something like that. So sometimes they touch like your stove while it's still very hot and they got burned, you might not know because they won't cry. And because of that, you want to label hot, cold with pictures so that they know with the picture, we help them to say, okay, this is something you don't touch, it's hot. And if you have children who are very young, I say, just check them every day, because sometimes you don't know when they are hot. If they cannot feel pain, not all of them cannot feel it, but some may not feel pain. Okay, so this is some other strategies that we can employ at home. Tactile, auditory, or visual activities that you know that they enjoy. Some of our kids enjoy building Legos. Some of them are very talented. They're very gifted in putting things together, building things. So if that is something that they enjoy, you might offer that to them, and they build different things. Some of them like bubbles, they're able to blow bubbles, and that might calm them down. Some of them like the flashing colors, and there's a lot of toys that comes with that have flashing colors, or spinning objects, anything that spins. You notice some of them like to run in circles. So they might also like spinning objects. So those are some of the things that we can try at home. I talk about the special interest. It's very important that we identify what that is. And, if you don't know, we now just keep looking. Before you know where you'll discover what is it that they really like, or what is it that they're into. Yes. So if our kids, if they struggle with sound, if they're challenged with sounds in the house, for instance, if you are using a blender, for instance, blender make noise when you want to use it. If they get overloaded with sounds, you see them covering their ears and they're ready to shrink because of that sound, or maybe when you're vacuuming, allow them to operate that. So give them opportunity. When they are calm, not when they are already, dysregulated. When they're calm, then give them opportunity to control it. Come and turn on the blender and then turn it off. Turn it on, turn it off. Or even flushing. Just flushing the toilet can scare some of them, create the anxiety, and allow them to flush back and forth while you're there, in a very supportive way. And that way they will see that it's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing for them to be scared of. So allow them to use it. And after a while, the anxiety will begin to decrease. Yeah, so I think I move on from here. Oh, so these are some examples what weighted vests look like, and the weighted blanket, some of the fidget toys. There's the spinning toys and the light. Most of these are on Amazon. If those are some things that the kids like. Sometimes our kids do not like the regular chair to sit on. They might like the bean bags, and that can keep them calm. A lot of them like to jump on trampoline. When they are stimming, what we call stimming, however that looks like, maybe they're jumping, maybe they're flapping their hands. It's not something you want to stop, because it's actually something that is calming them. It allows them to calm down. That's their way of responding to the sensory overload for them, to get them to relax. So you just allow them to be, as long as they're not hurting themselves and they're not hurting other people. Puzzles is something that they like. These are some of the spinning toys that they really like. So if we have picky eaters, you want to other choices, you want to be very creative. I know a young boy that will only eat green apples and chicken nuggets. That's it, nothing else. So, and then of course, as a mom, you worry about their nutrition, So we have to be creative to introduce them to other foods, if that is the case. Allow them to make decisions about the meal, show them the pictures, they can choose, they can try it, and you want to pair it with their preferred food. So I'm not, don't just take away the chicken nugget. Where you had chicken nugget in the morning, you had chicken nugget at night, at least they have something in their stomach. So it's better than nothing. So when I want to give them, I want to introduce them to other food, then I'll give them other things, but with chicken nugget. So that's what I mean by, let's pair it together in small portion, little by little, then they can begin to try other things, and then you reward them when they try it. And seek professional guidance, the help of a nutritionist. They will be able to help more. These are some of the ways that we can be creative in helping them to eat other things. Make it fun for them. Use cookie cutters to cut sandwiches into fun shapes. They like building stuff, and that can help them to try it. Make faces on pizza with veggies, different things like that. Texture matters to our kids. So once you discover what texture they like, then you want to put that food in that texture. And that will help them to try it. And once they like it, then, they will start eating it little by little. And another thing I recommend for families is don't make it just their food. Make it their family food. Because, why would I try the food? If all of you have chicken in front of you, but you're asking me to eat, like a porridge, of course, I'm not going to try it. So we want to make it like a family affair. All of us are eating the same thing. So what you're asking them to eat, we make it a family affair. So gluten-free food has been recommended for individuals with autism. So you can create a schedule of it. It's a lot to choose from now, when we look for all those alternatives. Some of us on Medical Monday, we've went through plant-based diet. So we learn about all these alternatives to other food. The same way we can find those alternatives to make a gluten-free food for them, because it really helps them. So you can create a menu just like that. and you can create it with them so that they will try it. Shall I stop here? It's 8:15.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can have questions and interactions.
Okay. So let's
Wow.
start there for now.
Thank you so much.
Let me stop sharing.
This has been fantastic. I learned so much. Please, if you have questions, you can raise your hand or put it in the chat box. We have a lot in the chat box when you said people should use a word to describe what they think. Francisca Atem said communication deficiency. Abila Tazanu said potential. Crystal Austin said, thank you for having her. That a child Christian with ASD at the age of 3. His early symptoms include lack of eye contact, lining up his toy cars, spinning in circles, not wanting to be touched, and sensitivity to textures. Yeah. And Jean Spalding, she just said good night. She had a lot to write, in the chat box. She said when you say symptoms, that she was thinking really, you mean sensory issues. And many people have sensory issues. Autistic people learn how to advocate for themselves and how to deal with their sensory issues. They also have to learn how to socialize and not mask. Sometimes she says she thinks masking may be okay for work, school, etc. Autistic teens have a high number of suicides due to masking, trying to be like others. And she says most autistic adults do not like these levels. Instead, they ask that we use needs support. Has high support needs or has low support needs. There are many issues with the level numbers. I think, this was earlier on that she was writing. You actually mentioned quite a bit of this. So we give preference to people who raise their hands. So Dr. Teju Ogunride, kindly unmute. And kindly unmute. I see your hand raised.
Okay. All right. Yes, this is Dr. Ogunride. I am so very glad I joined tonight. So, Dr. Fawole, I think that's an excellent presentation. It's detailed. I think, if there's any mom in the crowd trying to figure out what's going on with their children or something like that, they can't figure out. I think you gave a detailed explanation, arriving at diagnosis and all that. So I'm very, very impressed. Over the years, in my 30 years of practice, we could see that, managing autism is multifactorial, and you touch base on most of the cases and all the referrals we do within the practice. One thing I just wanted to add, because I know that in our culture, sometimes having the diagnosis is always like a hesitant kind of thing. So, not that the doctors are not talking to the parents, but because of, the mother-in-law is at home, they think it's just a boy factor, it's just children are just children, not wanting to admit the diagnosis at the early stage. Sometimes that can delay the management effect. And we do know that getting the early diagnosis and also management and intervention is very important. Just wanted to add, like, the effect of medication is very important in autistic kids. So, because we focus, just as important as the augmentative and other services in terms of speech, OTPT, but using the medication, especially with kids that are nonverbal and also very aggressive, it's very, very important because it helps the therapists to be able to do the services, to be able to give them the services. And I know a lot of parents sometimes are resistant in that. And I find that over the years, when I've seen parents do that at the early stage, we have problem dealing with the kid at the latest stage when they are now adolescents, trying to get placements in further things because they have not gotten the necessary services because it was so hyper and not able to concentrate or even assimilate any of the intervention being offered at the early stage because the parents refuse medication. I think that should be kind of incorporated into educating the parents when they do come for services, when we refer them to therapies and all that, to say, okay, work with your doctor, make sure that you see a child. Sometimes they have mood disorders and all that. Few medications, when they put them in within the therapy, it's like at least 70%, effective in terms of managing their behavior when they go on medication as well. So I just want to say thank you for this presentation. I think it's very good. And, I'm not sure if I have you in my referral list. So, you can post it later. I'll probably, I don't know how far you are from Waldorf. I would like to put you on my referral list. So, all right.
Okay.
Take care. And
Thank you so much.
you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
And Dr. Dr. Guride, sorry, is one of our best around here. She's in Waldorf. She's a pediatrician, but doesn't only do that. I'm looking forward to go have my spa at a facility. Actually, Dr. Caprice and I are going to go have a spa session over there.
You're welcome anytime.
She also is into, if you have issues with your scalp, hair, and stuff like that, Dr. Ogunride helps to take care of that too. I've had personal experience on that level also. Thank you for all you do also.
Thank you.
Thank you for your robust contribution.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. And, before I call on Madam CEO, Madam VP, I just wanted to say that in Prince George's County, we're blessed because we have a county executive, Aisha Brave Boy, and county council chair, Crystal Oriada, who are really deeply into health. They want to see that the health of our community is improved. And their first initiative was actually on early screening and intervention for autistic children, catching them at 0 to 5 instead of waiting till the school age. Dr. Fawole presented that but sometimes in our communities, diagnosis occurs much later than it should for the children to get the best intervention. But in Prince George's County, that has changed because of our county executive and the county council chair. We're blessed. So, Madam VP, kindly unmute.
All right.
Welcome.
Thank you. Dr. Fawole, fantastic job.
Thank you, ma.
But you're a scientist. I'm not. I'm in human services. So I'm going to come from a different spin. But there are two things that you said that really excited me.
No, actually, she's an educator.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So in the beginning, you talked about them as people with special abilities. I love that. And you also said it's about creating equitable access. I love that. That's also something that Dr. O stands for, creating access for people. Having said that, the people with autism individual, whether it's an adult or little one, there are some characteristics that they have. Their actions, their conduct, or even their responses to things are completely different from ours. And so most of the time people see them as not normal or socially unacceptable or non-compliant, all of those labels. But if you have a child or an adult with autism, first of all, please, you are not God. They are not broken, so don't attempt to fix them. You have to work with them in love. We all need love. So if you deal with that individual with love, you're going to get a better response. And one thing that is practical that I'm going to share today is everybody, whether you have a disability or not, everybody has a good day and a bad day. So you need to study what constitutes a good day for your son or daughter or the adults that you're working with. Make a note of that, because what constitutes a good day, if you can produce more of those for them, they will have more good days than they have bad days. It's very important. If I don't like beans next to my rice, then don't put beans next to my rice. But if you don't pay attention, you're not going to know it. You understand? So their behaviors are usually unusual, like you said, but they get irritated easily. They're very irritable and things like that. But understanding what their rituals and their routines are is going to help to move their life forward. And in constructing their calendar, or day-to-day routine stuff, my suggestion would be they need to be included. You need to ask them, yes, do you like this? Do you don't like that? Before you build a routine calendar, you have to observe them. There are some of us as adults, you have an alarm clock. When that alarm clock rings, I don't know how many people get up on an alarm clock, but some people get up and actually kill that alarm, right? They are the ones that set the alarm. So you have to study what it is that they like to do when they like to do it. They might be cross dressers when they wake up in the morning. They came out of the shower, they're going to put their singlet and start running around the house before they come and put on the pants. You have to understand that there's nothing wrong with that. That's what works for them. And that's what routine is all about. These are things that makes us predictable. It makes us consistent, and it gives us comfort. There are people who would drink water before they eat. You have to observe what it is that works for them. It's about what works for them. And then you start writing it down, because if you help to give them the things that works for them, you're going to have more good days. And that's what we shoot for. There are people that they will first of all eat all the chicken before they even touch the other rest part of the food. It doesn't mean all they want is chicken, but that's what they want. They want that taste first. And another thing is that they also react to situations differently. Even though you're the caregiver and you love them, if you're sick, they may not show emotion. It doesn't mean that they're mean-spirited. Or you tell them somebody's dead, they just be looking at you. They don't know how to react to those things. So you need to study your child. And I think last time I emphasized that one size does not fit all. Very, very important. You must figure out what size they are. Are they small? Are they medium? And that is going to be different at different times. But you see, we deal with these things. There are reactive ways to deal with it. There are also proactive ways to deal with it. So when you study them and you understand what it is, what works best for them, even in the time of meltdown, if you have always given them a hug, pull them together and say, I love you, repeat those words. If you've always done that, the chance of a meltdown would decrease, because they need to be validated. Okay? Like Dr. Fawole said, when they're flapping their hand, you need to make a kid of yourself. You two, you join in their happiness. Whatever is making them happy, you two jump up and fly and say, yeah, we happy. You have to know that they are watching you, and body language is very important to them. Very important to them. Like she said, sometimes they will make some funny sound, either because they want an escape, or that situation is intolerant for them, or whatever it is. But everybody have a good day, everybody have a bad day. Whatever you know that gives them a bad day, you want to study, and you want to write a note of those things to your teacher or to the classroom. These are the things that are important to them. If their blanket is important to them, that's okay. They can take it to school. You let the teacher know that this is important to them. It gives them comfort. Okay? Whatever it is, you want the teacher to know these are the things that is important to them. These are the things that is important for them. When it comes to things important for them, they usually have to do with health and safety. They need to take their medication at this specific time. They need to, they want to use the bathroom at a specific time. Whatever those things are, but it comes with you observing those things around them and co-creating their schedule, So because they want to put things in order in the way that it makes sense to them. That way it helps them. Even in bedtime, don't just assume that this is their routine. You want to find out what it is that they like. Some of them, even though they don't like a lot of hard sound, they may love to listen to music before they fall asleep. They may not want to have a shower. In your house, you might have a ritual. Everybody go to a shower before. They may not want to have a shower. It doesn't mean that they cannot do other ways of self-care or hygiene. But you have to study this individual and then you write it down. And even when you write things down, you need to share with them. Am I correct with this? You need to share your assumptions because you could be wrong. You need to show them and say, and then they nod or they agree with you and say. So there's a lot that we can do to work with them. Yeah, there's a whole lot we can do to work with them. But when this particular group of people, they're also deviant. They want to do things their way. So don't make it a power struggle. Okay? You need to confirm what it is that they're trying to do. You would have to educate them. If that way is dangerous, you have to come to them from the position of this is not safe for you to do. Like Dr. Fawole said about you label some things. Oh, they want to turn on the oven. You label it and say, this is not safe. They need to understand it because you can't let them have their way. A lot of rights without responsibility is going to just kill them. So, but at the same time, what is more important is that they are not, the way they react is different, but we're not different from them. We're not better than them. Okay? So we need to be accountable for our own behaviors too. But we have a good day, they have good days. We have a bad day, they have bad days. It's a question of understanding what's a good day, even with husband and wife. When the wife or your mom comes into a certain day, oh, wait a minute, what happened at work? Everybody just run into their homes, into their rooms. We did that when we were growing up. When daddy is not in a good mood, everybody go and stay. That's not the time you'll be asking him questions because you're going to get, right? But, but these are children that we're dealing with. We have to understand what it is that gives them a good day. Let's start from that perspective. Because when we all come home, that's the question we ask each other. How was your day? Right? You got to learn to peel the onion. How was your day? If they say good, what is good about it? You want to know more. What is good about the day? Maybe somebody told them they like their shirt. Oh, they like that shirt? Okay, let's go shopping. Let's get more of that shirt that they like so you can get more compliments. You understand? What is it that made it such a bad day? Maybe they didn't get their way. All of those. But those are my 2 cents. I could share more, but I think that Dr. Fawole has done a fantastic job already, but we'll keep it there.
Wow, thank you so much. So be ready for next week because you may be hosting. Be ready. Thank you. Thank you for that contribution. And thank you for all you do for children with needs.
Yeah.
In your area also. Thank you.
Where's Dr. Krapis? She ain't been here for a long time. So she be hosting?
No, she can't. So, Sister Francisca, kindly unmute. You have your hand raised.
Yes,
Thank
good
you.
evening, everyone. My name
Good
is
evening.
Francesca, and I want to first of all start by thanking Dr. Akintonde for granting me awareness and giving me the opportunity to join this forum. So the topic is fantastic, and I've gotten a lot of insight and helpful information. So thank you people so much, and thanking the presenter. That was really an amazing job. And I also want to use this opportunity to introduce myself to you guys and to let you know that I'm a doctoral candidate currently undertaking a research titled A Comparative Analysis in Cognitive and Social Outcomes in Toddlers aged 18 to 36 months who are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder versus speech delay. And I'm in need of participants. So I'm currently looking for clinicians who have experience working with toddlers who are diagnosed with speech delay or autism spectrum disorder, and also parents who have children of this spectrum. So I think this is a good opportunity for me to get some participants.
Well, thank you for looking into that. But you're going to be researching their cognitive aspects, or
No. So focus would be on the life experiences because this is a phenomenological qualitative research. So focus will be on the life experiences from the parents and the clinicians.
okay. Interestingly, we're doing autism today, and next week we are continuing because next week we're going to talk about siblings of children with yes, children with autism. One of our mothers was actually the one who cued me into it that we have not looked at the siblings, that they too should be acknowledged and should be talked about. And so we're going to continue next week with this. And I would say on the forum, parents with children of this age, if they can help Sister Francesca,
Francesca.
yeah, that would be great. But it will be at their comfort level.
Exactly.
Medical Mondays with Dr. O, we do not create or develop patient-physician interaction, and we don't market anything
Okay.
on anyone's behalf. But there are mothers on the platform tonight that can easily connect to you. Maybe you can put your information there for them to connect, or they can put theirs in the chat box.
Thank you so much,
So
Dr.
they can
Ho.
connect. You're welcome. And Sister Veronica Mitchum was the one who cued me into looking into siblings. So next week, let's show up again so we can talk more about this subject and about the siblings. Yeah, and Dr. Fawole has done a phenomenal job. And I wish maybe she can even conclude it next week. Dr. Kitonde, you have your hand raised. Kindly unmute.
Hello. I was just
Hello.
gonna say a big thank you to you, Dr. O. Thank you so very much for accommodating that research student, and then just for her to come on and just listen. And also want to say a big thank you to Dr. Fawole. Thank you for all your intervention strategies.
Yeah.
Because I think that's always a big one where parents just doesn't know what to do. Medical Monday, I just want to say this is just a very interesting topic. And like Dr. O said, I hope to see more of intervention resources for PG County residents. Thank you.
Yeah, we have it. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And thank you for bringing the research student, because part of what we should be doing as a community is helping each other. Like, in Prince George's County, elevating each other and, assisting each other. So thank you for bringing her. So going along, Dr. Fawole, please put in the chat box the link and the time for your conversations monthly, because our mothers on the platform need ongoing care, ongoing support, and that's what you provide on a monthly basis. So if you please put that in the chat box, that would be great, so that they can participate monthly and have their questions answered rather. Going forward with the ask that you asked in the beginning, and Sister Florence said that fascination with certain sensory inputs is also something else that one can see, like spinning objects, specific frequencies and I guess etc. There's a question here. What is gut therapy? Can this also be covered by insurance? Because you talked about gut therapy.
Okay. Yes. So gut therapy is considered one of the medical interventions. So it is a multimodal system of treating the gastrointestinal condition, which is one of the co-occurring conditions to autism. So is to improve that gastrointestinal condition. So it's something that the doctor will actually facilitate. So it is covered by insurance. It is a medical condition.
So is it diet, a type of diet,
Yes.
or
So is diet included? Is psychological, like I guess it's mostly diet. Mostly diet. But it's something that, the doctor will guide the parents on how to take care of it if the child has that.
Okay.
But they have it that is very common with maybe children with autism. I don't know so much about the adults, maybe they have it. But just like ADHD, sometimes, you had the autism, you had a diagnosis of autism, then ADHD comes with it. Sometimes you have a gastrointestinal condition comes with it. Sometimes it is the anxiety that comes with it. So if gastrointestinal condition comes with that, then gut therapy is something that they use to treat that.
Okay, thank you. So how early can you introduce sign language? Sister Justina says a boy is 5 going on 6 and nonverbal.
So as early as the child is ready, it's just like any other language. So at age 1, sometimes we have our kids will say ba 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 da da da, kind of. It's the same thing. So once they're ready, you can teach it to them. If you notice, maybe especially at age 5, they're ready to speak. They really should be speaking. So if they're not using language at that time, then you want to give them alternative. So, and sign language is one of the alternatives that we can give them. And like I said, just start small, even if it's just hello, and we learn what hello is, and then we learn more. I want more. And then we can learn that. You can continue to teach the child that particular one until the child gets comfortable with it, then you can add to it. So it can be progressive.
Fantastic.
But I say as early as possible.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Felipe, you have your hand raised, Dr. Felipe Mohali. And thank you again for last week. Where are you? Okay.
First, I would like to thank Dr. Fawole for the great work she has been doing for parents and for the children affected with autism, and for taking a subject that is super complicated and make it easy to understand for most of us. That's a God-given talent to do that, and thank you for the time you put to do that for us.
Thank you.
And I want to follow up about the gut therapy, or gastrointestinal therapy. One of the occurrences in autism is what they call dysbiosis. So we have in our gut what it's called the normal population of bacteria that helps not only with digestion, but it also produces neurotransmitters, so signal molecules that go to the brain and help the functions of the brain. And if we lack those bacteria, especially in conditions such as autism, then there will be a dysregulation between the gut and the brain. And that's where the intervention on the gut plays a role. When I started this few decades ago, the word prebiotic was only for very few scientists. Now we have probiotics and prebiotics all over, maybe even cookies with probiotics. Well, all those things are meant to help restore the normal population of bacteria in the gut. It goes to the extreme of what they call fecal transplant. So they would take feces from healthy individuals and introduce them in the colon of children with autism, and the results after a year or more are quite amazing, which again, let's say if 10 years ago you said bacteria in the gut affects the brain, neuroscientists would ask you to be sent to a psychiatric facility. And today it's so common. And so gut therapy, it's very, very important in cases of conditions such as autism, but not just that, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and many others. That's the part that I want to add. And again, thank you very much, Dr. Fawole, for your work.
Thank you so much. That is in depth. Thank you. And we appreciate you for Mind Vital Pro also, because it goes in the same line. Thank you. So Dr. Veronica, Dr. V said, thank you, Dr. Fawole, for an enlightening conversation. Dr. Chidima Aguboko said, wonderful presentation, that she learned a lot. Francesca Atem, who just spoke, a researcher, doctoral candidate, said great topic. And Dr. Ethel Esianu Mitchell, a dentist, was, alerted us to, dental intervention, dental care in autism last week, said, thank you, Dr. Fawole. Excellent and a great presentation that she learned a lot, very informative. Dr. said, good info shared, thank you. Thank you all over the place. And thank you, Abila, for, giving your information to our doctoral candidate. Pastor Paul said, available support group to grieving parents. No, these are support groups to parents who have children with autism, sir. Sister Shade Ajike said, great, enlightening presentation, really in-depth and informative. Thank you so much, Dr. Mayowa. And Dr. V said, Dr. Fawole, that she thanks you very much for the full hands-on insight into the autistic child. You answered fully all our needs and knowledge. You are so passionate and involved. She says she thanks God for you and wish you the very best in your calling. Well done, sister. Dr. Alu said, great job, Dr. Fawole. Thanks a lot for your insightful education on this very salient subject matter. And Crystal Austin said, thank you, Dr. Fawole. Dr. Akitonde said, thank you so much for detailed information on ASD and the intervention strategies for managing the behaviors. Please, can we have your contact info? Again, please post that in the chat box so that you can be reached and people can join in that monthly knowledge, how would I say it, opportunity, because you give a lot monthly and our parents need it. again, for ongoing support. And I know I've been on that forum, and I know that parents even connect so that they have, support group to support each other. Samsung, you said you joined late. You want a copy of the presentation. Your niece is autistic. Please, if you go to YouTube, it's on YouTube or Facebook. Medical Mondays with Dr. O. The whole presentation is there, and you'll be able to get it live. Medical Mondays with Dr. O. There are many medical Mondays, but there's only one with Dr. O. So Sister Justina said, please, she needs help with getting a kiddo assessed in order to get an official diagnosis for autism. She is not able to get in ABA therapy without an official diagnosis. That is very true. I just learned that. Sister Justina, please, if you can unmute and say what county or where you are, that's helpful, because getting this assessment is different in different states, even within the state, in different cities and counties. So if you let us know where you are, then we'll be able to assist you, to point you in the right direction. Dr. Guride said, please have your primary care refer your child to Children's Autism Center or Kennedy Krieger Neuropsychology for assessment. In the meantime, enroll in local services through your county or speech therapy. Good luck. Yeah, it depends on what county. Kennedy Krieger is in Maryland. That's why, I was asking where she is. And she says, she responds, is been on the waiting list for Kennedy for a while. She says she will look into local services, not sure how to contact them. I have contacts for you if you will reach out and, share your contact. We have contacts, we have local teams in Prince George's County that can help. Even Montgomery County, there are, that we know. Need for good balance. Dr. Ajay said that. Okay, Dr. Mayowa, thank you for posting your information. And Francesca, thank you for posting yours too. Then a question, Dr. Fawole, and also Dr. Muhali. Do children outgrow ASD behavior or behaviors? Do children outgrow ASD behaviors?
So maybe I answer first, and then Dr. Muhali can add to it. So as of now, there is no cure for autism. But all these strategies, all these therapies, their goal is to reduce the symptoms. And it's helping individuals to actually learn alternative behaviors to what they're already presenting. So then they're able to do better. So the more support they receive to help them learn alternative behavior, the less of the symptoms we will see as they grow, as they mature, as they become independent of all those behaviors. So the behaviors might not go away, but they learn, might not go away 100%, but they learn how to navigate around it. Just like all of us. Sometimes I say all of us have disabilities, if I can put it that way, because there are some things that you just don't know how to do. There are some things that I just don't know how to do. But we all learn to use what we can do, what we know how to do to compensate for our weaknesses. We use our strength to compensate for our weaknesses. The same thing we do for individuals under the ASD. So they're learning to use their strengths to compensate so that you do not see more of those weaknesses, you see more of their strengths. I hope that makes sense.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Muhali.
Yes, I'm just going to follow up to what Dr. Fawole said So their therapies for the behaviors, they are very helpful. There is the medical intervention with pharmaceutical therapy. We have lots of physicians here who can go far more in detail into that. And then there are several other interventions, including nutrition, that help balance the functions of the brain and the function of the gut. Some of us are focused on those kinds of interventions without taking out the other ones. So one single intervention, I never look at it, but I don't believe it would solve lowering the symptoms or the behaviors related with autism. It's a combination of different interventions that would make a child that was disruptive in the classroom to become an active participant in the school. I think I spoke lengthily about that last week. There was a time we would be called 2 or 3 times a week to the school because of the problems. And over time, we learned how to manage the medicine, how to manage other interventions. And today, we have almost normal kid at school. So yes, Dr. Fawole said something very important, or reminded us that it's a lifelong process. FDA does not have a therapy for it, okay? And FDA does not have a lab diagnostic test for it. But we can manage it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
It's me.
Dr. Hamadu Babasangri, kindly unmute. We're so glad to have you here. I'm glad school is over. And you are on holiday. Kindly unmute. Fantastic. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you. I would like to thank the presenter as really indeed a very observed as a very complex subject matter, given the materials and sometimes I observe as difficulty in not difficulty from her part, but the fact that the subject matter is just difficult to define in a way sometimes, or also as a challenge in terms of the diagnosis. And when you have I don't know what I call it, disease or mental issue that is difficult to diagnose, the treatment actually become also a challenge. So that's what I see. So I think you did a great job trying to bring in all these alternatives on it. Well, I also heard some of the speakers about what the child wants, and I think it's good. But I don't know whether we put some cultural dimension into the when we're trying to diagnose, treat this situation. I can share a specific story about the idea of what the child wants and what the parents want. And from a clinical sociologist, I always we look at things like life is structure, and the parents when we say parenting, basically is idea that you direct your children into societal expectations of behavior. But now, This one we don't know. Is it there's some people say it's a biological thing like the neuroscience, but there's some people look at it. I heard as it's a social thing based on neglect or interaction. So that's my confusion. Anyway, so I had a friend of mine, a coworker here actually. He got a call one day from school that his daughter goes to. He's an African, of course, and they asked him for a parent-teacher association, and the reason given to him when he went there was that the child is complaining that the parent is not allowed. The parents are not allowing her to watch TV a lot, and they cut down her TV time, and therefore it is affecting her psychologically. So so how do you deal with that situation as a parent? And his response was that, well, it is my house, and if you want the child to watch a lot of TV, then you can take the child with you and allow them to watch a lot of TV. But in my home, we want them to do their homework and race and something like that. So as I'm throwing to the public audience here, how would you handle this one? Is it going to cause the child, was it seen as the child trying, is it depression that can be seen as autism or anxiety?
Audience, yeah.
What is
How
it?
would you handle this one?
Yeah.
Is it going to cause the child, was it?
Oh, that's my echo. All right, that's a question I'm throwing.
Is it depression that can be seen as autism?
It's echoing.
Yeah, okay, that was my question. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Fawole.
Okay. So I want to make sure I understand your question. So when the school call a parent to pick up their child that the child is having complaint because the parent do not allow her to watch TV.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not sure if
a lot of TV. I mean, the TV that she was watching it, but the parents make sure that there's a time that she couldn't watch it. She needed to go and do her assignment and go to bed.
Yes.
But she thought like that was, quote unquote, stressing her out. So she went and reported it to the teacher in school. Yes. So the teacher called the parents for parent-teacher association meeting to say, hey, your child reporting that you are not allowing her to watch a movie, a TV enough. That was the word, enough. And it is causing her some anxiety and some issue in school. So the parents' response was, okay, hey, I have rules in my house on how much TV the children can watch. And if you want the child to be watching a lot of TV, you can take her with you. So that was according to what he told me, basically. Okay. So how do you handle that?
Okay. So from what I heard from you, this child does not have, it's not diagnosed with autism or any classification. So this is like kind of regular. So, and if I get that correctly, then my response would be, I don't know why the school called. There has to be something that the child did, maybe a kind of behavior that the child exhibited that caused the school to have to call the parent. You know, maybe there is, I don't know, if the child display a form of anxiety or a form of depression in school that caused the school to have to call them. Otherwise,
she was not doing her work, and sometimes she would cut classes. They wouldn't know where she was. So, and then the reason now she was given to the school was, well, because my dad doesn't allow us to watch enough TV.
Okay, so I would say that as parents, we all have our parenting style, and we're all responsible for our children to some point. We all make choices that we know is best for our children. whether they like it or they don't like it, because, you know, kids don't know what is best for them sometimes, that the parent had to be there to help them see what is really best for them. So if the school call the parent, I mean, I'll sit down and listen and see what is it that the child is doing, and they can come together and come up with a plan of how they're going to help that child. But that the parent took away too much TV, in my opinion, it is not a bad thing, because everything is permissible according to the scripture, but not everything is profitable. So we as parents, we have that responsibility, you know, to make some decision for our children, especially when they're younger, to say, okay, you're going to do this. If you do this, then you'll be able to do this. If you don't do this, then you're not going to be able to do that. I think we agree to that, whether we're in Africa or whether we're here in America. We all grew up in Nigeria, but we all also raised children here. So, and kids, you give them an inch, they're going to go a mile if you allow them to. So, so it is important that parents hold their ground, but also provide support as needed. Not watching TV is probably, I mean, is not enough for them to have anxiety. It's not the reason for a child to have anxiety. So maybe there are other things that is causing the child to have anxiety. And that's why I will sit with the school to tell me what they're seeing. And then as collaboratively, we can come up with a plan that can support this child, so this child can do better.
All right. Thank you so much. And I say a great presentation. It's a very complex subject, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Excellent. Nkechi, go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I just wanted to
Welcome.
piggyback. Yeah, I want to piggyback from what the last speaker in the question of the professor. First of all, in schools, if a child reports their parent that they're not making them watch TV, and that child is not doing work, the school would somehow support the parent. But from the other side is the family or the child might have said something that entail abuse. That is why they called a parent-teacher meeting. Because I don't see why a child, or maybe because the child is missing classes and they can't find that child in every period or some period, that's the reason why they call the parent, to collaborate and support them to know why that child is doing that. No school would ever complain about parents training or dealing with their child's behavior when it comes to academic and TV. Because I know that some parents, they'll tell you by 9 o'clock, you should go to bed, do your homework. Or some parents will say you don't play any game during school hours, only on weekend, from Friday, Saturday, Sunday evening, you're done with your game playing. So there's more to that story. That's why the school district or the teacher called that parent. And Madam, I want to say thank you so much for your presentation. It was very good. You nailed it, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, she's a teacher, she's an educator, and thank you for bringing that perspective. You're on point. We know that. Dr. Isiano Mitchell, I see you have something to say. You're
Yeah, I was
muted.
gonna say for the general part, if you don't mind, I'll defer to next week, because when we're doing the meeting, I went to the ADA.
Okay.
And I have to learn more of the electrodermal, which is something that's been done in research for dental patients. And it's the touch we talked about. They don't very careful about touch, the noise. And also would like to ask some of my colleagues if they've used it. So I want to have more of a more holistic and come from a different approach with dentistry to help make it more wholesome and much in depth. And Dr. feel like he has done one of the best I've ever had in autism. I've done a lot of special need classes. You have done great, ma'am. I've learned a lot from you, Doc. And I think this has given me the foundation. So I like to collaborate with you with dentistry and learn what to do. That's what I like to do. So Dr. O, I want to be better prepared so I can be able to interject the other areas. Dentistry has also done research to help our dear patients, but dental caries are still very high, and that's one area that I'm very concerned.
Yeah.
And majority of the caries are because they really cannot, they don't like things in the mouth, they don't like nobody helping them. My patient pool, the ones that did great, the parents had to do that pediatric, a little bit of restriction to help brush their teeth, even though they're teenagers. So that's area that I want to go and add to the new findings that they've done better with autistic and hopefully avoid putting them in general anesthesia, which was the norm. I would like the pediatric dentist to give me that take what they're doing also. Okay.
Thank you.
It's a huge area. It's
dental
huge.
care is very important because
Number
we
one,
know the relation to the heart, to
correct,
every area of the body.
the temperature.
So,
Yeah, that is true. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
also
so much.
I like the gentleman doctor he always gave me that insight last week, and I've realized that we can all collaborate very well. We can.
Fantastic. Dr.
Yes,
Felipe.
thank you. Dr.
Hi.
Felipe. Yes,
Yeah.
Dr. Felipe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
God bless you. Thank you.
God bless you more. Thank you all.
Thank you. So, Sister Chioma Upavi said, quite insightful. Please, does Medicaid cover ABA therapy? She says.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And Dr. Victory says, today's speaker is a gifted teacher who has been a true blessing, helping many better understand the autism journey with wisdom, clarity, and encouragement. God bless you. And Dr. Otu, amen.
Yeah. Thank you. God bless you too.
Thank you. And Professor, actually, Babaz Singri, you just, interacted with him, said, thank you for the passionate presentation of this complex subject matter. Right on point. Thank you so much. You have enlightened us. Thank you for your heart. It's a calling. It's a calling. And we were there when you walked through the doctoral aspect of this. We were there. So Medical Monday's family was very happy. And we are so proud of you. We are thankful, even more so. Thank you. For participants here, I have reposted Dr. Fawole's contact and registration for parents. So if you just click on that link, it will take you straight to the registration right now from the chat box so that you can know when the sessions are once a month so you can connect and continue learning. The next one is May 16 at 10:30 a.m. And the rest of the information is there. So Dr. Fawole, please, if you would give us your closing remarks. But before you do that, or what you want us to take home, really, is what we would like to hear. But before then, I wanted to remind us that next week we are continuing on autism, and we're going to be talking a lot more about the siblings, because people tend to forget the caretakers and others in the house. And we're going to hear Dr. Ethel Isiano Mitchell next week on dentistry also. So it will be siblings and the dental care and how to approach that in our population with autism. So Dr. Fawole, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for all the thank yous and everything. I feel so honored and blessed to be able to support parents. And today, I take one message. Number one is I want us to remember that autism, it is not a death sentence. It is not something to hide. It is not something, yes, it's challenging, and I'm not underplaying that at all. But they can also be a gift. Those kids can be a gift because they just have these special abilities that I believe there's a reason for it, there's a purpose for it, and it's changing the world. Temple Grandin has done a lot of things changing the world, especially in the life of animals. And that's her specialty, that's her thing. And so on and so forth, so many people. So for us Africans, I want us to remember that, yes, this has happened. Yes, it's a challenge, and is a calling that God has given to you because he's giving you a virtue to be able to do it. And that's why you had that challenge. And just embrace it and receive support. Take support. There are so many resources out there. Thank God. 1975, when special education became a thing in America, we don't have any resources. I mean, not too long ago, 1975 is not that far. It wasn't too far. But it came to be because of parents. What we know as special education today started because of parents who will not accept any less treatment for their children. They advocated for their children, and that's how special education began. So I want to encourage us to be empowered and speak up. If there's anything that is out there today, I was going to share different things, different resources that is out there that we can use to our advantage. And if there's anything that you feel that your child needs that you do not see, either in school or from the doctors or in the surroundings, every year there is a Meet the Senators in Washington, D.C. Every year you are allowed to go. I think the next one is in May. Every parent can go. Your child can go there to advocate. This is what I like to see. And that's how they have been able to effect policies. So I want to encourage us to use the power that we have as parents to seek changes that you feel that your child needs. So see them as children, as normal children, and treat them as normal as possible. Give them what they need, use the supports that are out there, and take support, take help. Take help. Take help whenever you need it. And for all of us that may not have a child with autism in our houses, let's give grace. If you see a child having a meltdown in the store, ask the parents if they need help. Ask them what type of help they need. And whatever help they need, we can provide. If nothing else, you can clear the place for them so that they can have a little privacy. That's little things we can do. If you see them at our churches, let us embrace them. We can support them. You can take turns. If it's a family member, you can say, okay, I'm going to relieve you for 2 hours. You go and sleep, go to the mall, do something fun, and take care of that child for that 2 hours, 3 hours to give them a break. We can all do that every now and then. We can all advocate for individuals with autism. If you know any policymaker, please advocate for them. If you have a job, you are a CEO, hire them. Hire those, some of them have certificates, but they need the opportunity to show what they can do. So let's hire them, let's give them opportunities, and we will see the wonders that they can perform. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you. Wow. This was loaded, a blessing. Thank you.
Thank God.